Since we started, you know, in our first class, I I spoke about the capabilities of the select statement. We have three capabilities of the select statement. The first one is projection, the second one is selection, and the third one is join. So we have used this projection where you can query different types of or different columns from a particular table. That is projection. While this selection is when you introduce the where clause to filter out the rows that you want. That is selection. That's why you are seeing these colors. Now, joining is when you are combining different tables. Okay. So the goal of this class now, the objective is this. After completing this lesson, you should be able to do the following. Write select statements to access data from more than one table using equijoins and non-equijoins. You are going to see practically what that means. Join the table to itself by using a self-join. View data that generally does not meet a join condition by using outer joins. Generate a Cartesian product of all rows from two or more tables. Practically, we are going to see this. So this is the objective. Now, if you look at this, obtaining data from multiple tables, all along we've been using the employee table. Sometimes we dabble into the department table, but mostly we use the employee tables to make all our query. Now, if you look at these two tables that are here, you see the employees table and the department table. In the employees table, we have these columns, this employee ID, last name, department ID, right? We always see it. Then in the department table, we have department ID, department name, location ID. So when you query the employee table, you always see the department ID, but you don't see department name. So today we are going to combine these two tables together so that we will see like this query you're looking at. So I will write a query to give you this output: employee ID, department ID, and then you see the department name. So meaning this table is coming from the combination of these two tables. Employee ID and department ID are coming from the employees table. Department name is coming from the department table. So you now have three columns in this new table. Are you seeing that? So you are going to write, what will help you to achieve this is the third capability of the select statement, which is what? Join. Are you with me? Now, these are the different types of join. We have natural joins, outer joins, and the cross joins. Under these natural joins, we have natural join clause. There's a clause we use for that, using clause, and the on clause. Then under the outer joins, we have left outer join, right outer join, and full outer join. I'll be explaining them to you practically. Then we have the cross join, which is the last one. Now, this is the syntax because you have to identify the source from which you want to get the data. So you start reading it from table 1. That is why you are seeing that this select list is carrying table 1 dot column, meaning it's just like saying your name, your first name, and the last name. So when you enter a place and you are having two people answering the same name, the only way you can differentiate them is through their surname. Are you with me? Because they will definitely not have the same surname. So what this table 1 is representing is the surname. So this column is telling you that this column is from this table 1. So table dot column, meaning table 1, the column in table 1. Now table 2 dot column, meaning the column in table 2. That is what this syntax is simply telling you. So from table 1, then you can see they are using this. They are using all these clauses now inside that syntax. All these things are what they are using in that syntax. It doesn't mean that your query will be like this, but they are combining all those clauses together in this syntax. When we are writing the query, we are going to be differentiating them or separating them. So this is select table 1 dot column, table 2 dot column from table 1. Natural join. So you are using natural join table 2. That is the end of that one. So it ends there. Now, this is another clause. join table 2 using the column name. Practically, I will explain, I will use them and you will see it. But this is the syntax. So this is the syntax we are going to follow. Then another one is join table 2. That is, you are joining table. The first one is you are joining table 1 to table 2 using natural join. That is a clause, which is this first clause. You will see it practically. The second one is you are joining table 1 to table 2 using a column name that is common to both of them. You will see it practically. The third one is that you are joining table 1 to table 2 on table 1 column name equals to table 2 column name. I will explain. Then you have this left, right, and full outer join. Now, cross join. This is for Cartesian, meaning you are bringing out all the rows. All the rows, each row in table 1 is combining with each row in table 2. That will give you this. Practically, you will see it. So this is just the syntax, right? This is the syntax. Now, look at this. You see that you have employee table. We have this employees table, and then you have this departments table. This is the rule. This is what helps you to be able to join them. We have what we call foreign key and primary key. I have explained this too in one of my classes. Foreign key and primary key. I told you that this foreign key is like the embassy of a country in another country. So the embassy of this department, let's assume that this department table is a country, and then this employee table is another country. So the embassy of this department table, right, or this department country, is this department ID. Can you see it? Because in this department table, you have department ID. And then in this employees table, you have department ID. But in this side, the department ID in this department table is called primary key. Primary key is the column that enables you to uniquely identify each of the rows, meaning no two rows can have the same ID. Can you see? So if you look at this column, you're having 10, 20, 50, 60. There is no repetition here. Are you seeing that? But if you look at this department ID in this employees table, you can see that you have repetition there. 90, 90, 90, 60, 60, 60, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 80, 80, 80. Can you see that? So this side is the foreign key. What this means is that this employee that is carrying this department 90 here, 90 here, 90 here, it means that these three employees, they belong to the same department. So the department name for this 90, when you look at it on this side, will be what? Will be executive. When you look at this 60, 60, 60, it means that you have these three employees in department 60. And what is the name of that department? IT. When you look at this side, you have 80, 80, 80. So what is the department name on the department table? Sales. That is simply it. So in writing your query, what will help you to combine these two columns together will be, or combine these two tables together, will be the foreign key and the primary key. Practically, you will see it. If you want to travel to the US from Nigeria, you have to go to the US Embassy in Nigeria and get your visa before you can travel to the US, right? So the same way here, if you want to come to this department's table to get the name of the department 60, that means in the employees table, you have to make sure that you identify that code. So the code 60 here represent the embassy of this department here. So when you come to this side, you will get the name IT. So that is what enables you to combine this table and this table together. If you are looking at this employees table and you are not seeing the number for a particular employee, a particular department name here, like what you have rightly noted, contracting, that department is not existing here. It means that there is no employee in that department. So let's go practically and see how to do it. Like I said, these are the clauses you will use. So today we are going to look at the natural join clause. the using clause, and the on clause. If time permits, you should be able to finish this natural join. Now, this natural join is also referred to as equi-join, or simple join, or inner join. First and foremost, when you look at the natural join, this natural join clause, which is this natural join, this is the clause, right? This clause is used for when you have common columns between the two tables, and these columns have the same name and the same data type. Natural join will automatically combine the two tables together using columns that are common to both. Now, these columns must have the same name and their data type must be the same. That is when you use natural join. Now, if you have columns with the same name in both tables, but their data types are not the same, you cannot use natural join. You will use using clause. Are you with me? Now, when do you use on clause? You can use on clause when you don't have both columns having the same name. So you can say a particular column in this table equals to another column in the other table. That can be your condition, and you combine them. So this is when you use them. So we are going to practically use them. So let me just put this as if I am ending. Let me put this as if I'm ending it. I just wrote it there for you to see. Now, let's practically run our query. So I will say select star from employees, right? I will end this, and then I will run it. This is my output. So I'm having all these columns. Now, if you look at this employees table, these are all the columns in the employees table from year to year. Now, look at the end of the employees table. We have department ID. Now, I'm going to run another query. Select star from department. I'll end this. So when I execute this one, now look at the department table. Can you see that we have department ID in the department table? How do you get to see the data type of this column? We will use a keyword, describe. The short form, that is describe, like this. But I'm going to use the short form, which is this. Describe employees. It will show me the data type of all the columns. Now look at that. Scroll up. So when you describe employees, it's telling you that employee table, which is this one, employee ID, first name, last name, is going to show me their data type. Meaning it's telling me what kind of data can enter into this column. That is what data type means. So describe employees is telling me that I have under employee ID is number. First name is variable character 2. Last name is voucher, variable character. So like that. Now let's see that last column, which is department ID. Department ID is number, right? So I know that the department ID is the name of that column. The data type is number. Now let's describe department and see the data type for department ID. So I'll say describe department. I'll end this. When I run this, look at the department ID. Can you see? Department ID, this is the name of that column. And the data type is also what? Number. It means I can use natural join clause to join these two tables together. So now I am going to run my query. So I will say select first. I will just pick star. I will say star. That means I'm bringing all the columns. Bringing all the columns in the employee table, all the columns in the department table. So select star from, I'll pick the first table, employees, right? Then I will introduce that clause, natural join. natural join department. Do you see that? So select staff from employees, natural join department. Now this natural join will know what it will do is that it is going, the natural join will go and look at the employees table, look at all the columns, come to the department table, look at all the columns. It will now use the columns that are common to both of them to construct this joining. So when I run this now, can you see? Now I've executed it. So you can see that now I have manager ID, department ID, employee ID, first name, last name, email, phone number, hire date, job ID, salary, commission percentage, department name. Can you see? Now I have department name and I have location ID. I have department ID and I have department name. I have combined all the columns in both tables. Now, what I want to do now is I don't want to bring out all the columns in both tables. I want to bring out just few columns. I want to write the query. The query that will give me this table. That's what I want to do now. So I'm going to select employee ID and department ID from the employees table. And then I will take the department name from the department tables. So I'm going to write the script that will give me this output now. So now I'm going to say select from the employees table. I have employee ID, employee underscore ID. So comma. I will also pick first name. Let me add first name, first underscore name. So that is also coming from the employees table. And then I will pick department ID underscore ID. That is coming from the employees table. Then I will pick department name. That is going to come from the department table. Then I will say I will call the first table, which is employees table. Employees. From employees. Then I will now call my natural join clause. Natural join department. Are you with me? So this natural join, now I have select employee ID. So this employee ID is coming from the employee table, which is this one. First name, which is this one. Department ID. This department ID is also coming from the employees table. Then department name. This department name is going to come from the department table, from employees, natural join department. So natural join will go to the employees table, pick out this one, and this one. Then implicitly, that is by itself, we'll now find out that this department ID is what is common to both tables. Then for each employee that he picks in the employee table, he will look at the department ID. The department ID is 90. He will now go to the department table, right, and look for the name of 90 and bring it. He will come back to the second row, pick the employee ID, say maybe 102, then pick that first name, Lex, and then what is department ID? 90 again. So it will go to the department table and look for the name of 90, and it will return it as department name. That is what it's going to do for all the employees. So is having this department ID, which is common in the employees table, that will serve as the foreign key. He will be using that to go to the department table to identify the department name and then pull it and supply it for me in my select list as my output. Do you understand? So let me execute this. Can you see? Now I now have an output that is having employee ID, first name, department ID, and department name. That this now shows us that Bruce, David, Valley, and Diana are all IT. These are executive. Then you scroll down. You see those that are in finance department. You see those that are in purchasing department. Those that are in shipping department. Those that are in sales department. Now I have combined two tables to be able to give me this output. What did I do? Now, look at this one. Select staff from employees, right? I'm going to execute it. We are used to that by now. So I'm just going to execute. I'm going to pull out all the columns from the employees table. I will run it. It gives me this, right? This is what I have in the employees table. Now, when you look at this employee table, at the extreme end of it, we have a column called department ID. Now, looking at this employee table, do you know the department name? Do you? You don't know the department name when you look at this employee table, but you know the department ID. These are the ID. Now, when you run this department, this script or this query, select start from department, it will show you this output. And this output is showing you the department ID and the department name. So you have a name. Are you with me? There is a name for each of the departments. Now, I want to get out an output that will show me the employee ID, the department, the employee first name, the department ID, and then the department name. To achieve that output, I need to combine two tables together. The aim of this exercise is for me to show you how to pick data from different tables. Because all your data will not be in one table. All your data are in different places. Just the same way this our world is. You will probably need to build something, and you will realize that one part of that thing is in US, another part is in China, another part is in Africa, is in maybe Nigeria in Africa, right? So to build that thing, you need to come to Nigeria to get that one part, go to China to get another part, go to US to get another part, combine them together to form that output that you want. Maybe a car, a particular car, maybe one part of that car will be in Nigeria, another part of that car will be in China, another part of that car will be in the US. You need to combine them together to form the car. That is exactly what we are doing. So the goal of this class is to show you how to be able to get your data from different tables. That is the goal of this class. So to achieve that, you need to join. That is the capability, another capability of the select statement. You need to join. So you need to join table 1 to table 2 to table 3. So you are considering Nigeria as one table, considering America as another table, considering China as another table. You need to be able to know how to go to these different countries to get the things that you want, to build the thing that you want to build. Let me show you something. Now, if you look at this, look at the tables that we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 tables. Can you see it? All along, in all the classes that we've been doing, we've been selecting our query using the employees table. But we have countries, we have departments, we have employees, we have job history, we have jobs, we have locations, we have regions. Now, this employee does not have all the data. Department does not have all the data. Country does not have all the data. Job history does not have all the data. So is location, so is region. Now, you are doing your job. Your job now requires you to give certain output to your management. You need this data from different places. So the output I'm trying to pull out here now is that if I run this employees table here like this, I am getting all this information, all this data out. But From this data that I'm looking at, I don't know the department name. I only know the ID of the department, but I don't know the name. So this table alone cannot give me what I want. Now, when I run this department, inside this department, I only know department ID, department name, manager ID, location, but I don't know the employee names that are assigned to each of these departments. So you see, so my query now is for me to produce a report that will have employee name, employee ID, employee department ID, and the employee department name. That is the query the report I'm expected to produce. This is the query for me to achieve that. So what will I do? I will now go to the employees table and select employee ID. Go to that same employee table and select first name column. Go to that same employee table and select department ID. Now, I am also selecting department name, knowing fully well that this department name is in the department table, not in the employee table. So my output will be, that is the select list. My output will be employee ID, first name, department ID, department name. That will be my output. Now, I am now saying that this 1, 2, 3, 4, these 4 columns will be coming from 2 tables. I know those 2 tables, employees table and department. So the first, I'm going to call the first table, which is from employees. Then I will now bring in the natural join. I will call the natural join. I say, natural join, help me combine this employees table to this department table and bring out these 4 columns for me. So what this natural join will do is, natural join will go to the employees table, find out all the columns that are there, go to the department tables, find out all the columns that are there. Then it will now automatically check them and see which columns are similar, which columns are common to both tables. It will now use those common columns to do my joining for me. So in this case now, the columns that are similar are probably because if you look at this now, if you look at this is department, right? Inside this department ID, we have manager ID. We also have employee ID. Now, if you look at the employees table, if I execute it, employees table, when I execute that one, if you look at it, in this table, you have manager ID and you also have department ID. Can you see that? Manager ID, department ID. Now, these two columns are common to the both tables. Natural join is going to use them. Natural join will use these 2 columns, provided they are having the same data type. Now, if you look at this, describe employees, if I run it, manager ID is number, department ID is number. Let's describe department. Under department, manager ID is number, department ID is number. So that is it. So this natural join is going to use those 2 columns to do the joining for me. So when I run this script, look at it, brought it out. So it's using, now it brought out employee ID, first name. So what will natural join do? What this natural join, this guy, what he's doing is that it will come to this employee table, look for this first column, which is the employee ID 100. It will now move, come to department ID. It will see 90 as the department ID. So it will select employee ID, which is 100. Select first name, which is Stephen. Select department ID, which is 90. Then it will now use this 90 and go to the department table. It will now use the 90, come to this table, look for 90, scroll down. It will now look for 90, and it will see that the department name for 90 is executive. It will now pick it and then supply it to this select list. So this is my output. This is what I'm expected to present as my report. So employee ID 101, first name Nina, department 90, department name executive. So it means that I have 2 employees in this department. Now look at the rest. So with this now, it is very easy for me to know which department Nina belongs. Because running only the employees table, I will only see the ID of the department. I will not see the name. But when I combine this query like this, now I can see the department name. Do you understand?